Here's the thing, when it comes to fall season, I am a sucker for a good seasonal iced latte. Now when it's like winter season, I want my coffee hot. But when it's like summer and fall, I love like an iced latte with some little seasonal syrup. But I don't love a ton of sugar in my syrup, so we're gonna make 3 different no sugar simple syrups for your lattes. The first one is a salted honey vanilla one. The second is going to be a shaken espresso with a toasted maple pecan simple syrup. And then the third one is super seasonal because we're going to do a classic iconic pumpkin spice. So let's just get into it. For our salted honey vanilla syrup, we're going to do 1 cup of water and then 1 cup of honey. I love to use like any kind of local honey. I believe this is a wildflower honey. Local honey is great for like allergies if you deal with them, which I feel like I'm allergic to everything outside, so if I can opt for a local honey, I will, but any honey will work. So 1 cup honey, 1 cup water, basically equal parts honey and water. I don't like to waste any bit of honey or maple syrup. So we're gonna heat this up over medium heat, stirring it until the honey has like dissolved in the water. So right now, I'll show you guys in a minute, it's pretty separated, but we want it to come together as one smooth syrup. And then we're going to stir in 1 tablespoon of vanilla bean paste, and then salt until your heart desires. Some people don't love salt with their anything sweet, which I totally understand, but I personally am a salty sweet girl. So I do about like half a teaspoon of salt, and I prefer like a flaky salt. I feel like a flaky, the Maldon flaky salt. I feel like that just adds the perfect amount of saltiness. But you can also probably use like Celtic salt or Himalayan sea salt. I just have not really tried it personally with either of those, but I'm sure it'll be good. It literally only takes like 1 to 2 minutes for the honey to dissolve, and then you're going to add your tablespoon of vanilla bean paste. You always want to add the vanilla like after it heats up, otherwise it can reduce that beautiful vanilla taste. And then salt. We're gonna add about like half a teaspoon. One of my favorite year-round ones to make. It just smells so good, and it even works in like a hot latte. I love how you can see like the vanilla beans in it. Okay, we're gonna close that one. You wanna make sure it comes to room temp before you seal it, otherwise just leave it open to cool off. So next up, we're going to do our toasted maple pecan simple syrup. So I'm looking at the recipes I've already tested. We're gonna do 1 cup of pecans, but I wanna toast them. I don't have a measuring cup, so I'm gonna measure this with my cup. Okay, I'm gonna toast it. I just rinsed out the same saucepan, so technically you can make all these in the same saucepan. We're gonna toast these for about 5 minutes without any oil or anything, just to help bring out their nuttiness. And I feel like it just adds such a good depth. Like you can actually taste the pecans rather than if you just added them raw. So yeah. We're also going to be adding in some cloves and cinnamon. So if you're going to add in like the whole cinnamon, the whole cloves and the whole cinnamon sticks, then go ahead and add them to toast with the pecans. Otherwise, you can just add the ground like spices afterwards. We're looking for them to take on like a nice deep brown tone to them. Okay, I'm going to reduce that to medium heat. We're going to add a cup of water and then a cup of maple syrup. And we're just going to let this simmer for 5 minutes. You're just gonna strain out the pecans, which you can probably like re-toast and use for like a homemade candy bar, or I don't know, like the bottom of a crumb. Oh, maybe like a cobbler. That sounds good. I'm gonna add about 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, then a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste, and a pinch of salt. And then give it a mixy mix. This one just makes me think of Thanksgiving. I'm gonna let this one fully cool before I cap it off, but I am gonna put the little tag on it. Love it! The last but certainly not least, we have our pumpkin spice, pumpkin spice simple syrup. So we're gonna do 1 cup of water and then 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Don't make the mistake I do. In the baking aisle or like canned aisle, there's typically 2 options. There's like pure pumpkin puree and then there's pumpkin pie puree. So it has like all the spices in it, which technically, now that I think about it, you could use that, but usually that has added like sugar, so I just like to use plain old pumpkin puree. So we're gonna do 1 cup of that. Most of the equations are equal parts, if you can't tell besides the seasoning. And then I did say at the beginning of this that we were gonna do no sugar simple syrups, but I do love this one with a cup of brown sugar, light brown sugar. However, you could do a cup of honey, a cup of maple syrup, date sugar, whatever sweetener you want. And we're just gonna whisk this over medium heat again for about 5 minutes. And we'll add some spices to it later. Now that it's been simmering for like 2 minutes, we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of pumpkin pie spice. Get all that spicing. And then we're going to add a pinch of salt. Again, the salt is optional. And whisk that together for another like 2 to 3 minutes. Hot. That one is so good. This one is on the chunkier side of simple syrups, but because of the brown sugar, or like if you use maple syrup or honey, it'll be the same effect. It will just like melt right into the espresso. But you do want to add it like when you're, I'm so focused on not spilling this on my skirt. When you're adding this one to your coffees, you want to add it into your espresso cup and then pour the espresso over it so that the hot espresso shots will help just melt this all together. Okay, I need to do this over the countertop. First, we're going to use our salted honey vanilla syrup, and we're going to add about a tablespoon in our glass with the 2 shots of espresso. I'm actually going to switch this out with a bigger glass because we're not doing this shaken espresso just yet. We're going to use a handheld spinner to spin it for like 30 seconds to get nice and foamy. Gorgeous. And then we're going to add our ice. And I like to fill it almost to the rim, or just honestly to the rim. Okay, actually, perfect. We're gonna add our milk and this one will be done. She's so gorgeous. I'll take a straw to stir it all around. Yeah, vanilla latte taste test. This is one of my favorites year round. I think I already said that in this video. I just love it so much. I love a salty sweet. I love honey in my lattes. This is also perfect if you don't like a super seasonal, flavorful coffee. This is the perfect amount of a little salty sweet addition. And you can see the little vanilla bean specks and the foam on top. So cute. Okay, I don't want to be super caffeinated, so I'm not going to drink all this. But we're going to make our shaken espresso toasted maple pecan next. For this one, we're going to add a tablespoon of our toasted pecan maple pecan syrup, 2 shots of espresso, and we're going to add some ice. And we're going to put our lid on tightly and shake it. This is going to make it super foamy and beautiful. Okay, we're going to add our milk to our glass filled with ice. Give a nice last shake. Oh. And then pour over our shaken espresso. It's so pretty. Or a nice keep out. Ooh, this one is also really good. because you're getting the maple and the toasted pecans, and it's a little bit salty and it's vanilla-y. It's honestly a bit similar to the vanilla honey, but no, it's not, because you're getting maple instead of honey. It's not similar at all. Ignore me. This is like a pecan pie. This is like a lighter pecan pie iced coffee. That's good. I like that. I actually didn't get to add all of the shaken espresso because I filled it up with too much ice, and the cup itself is just really tiny. Please don't spill. Okay, so now we're gonna get the full effect, and she's so much darker. Oh yeah, that's good. Also, I realized I had to take my dog to the groomers. I ended up getting the pumpkin spice syrup on my skirt, so I gotta get that out later. But speaking of which, let's go make that pumpkin spice latte. So remember, for this one, we're going to add our tablespoon of simple syrup directly into our espresso cups, because as you can see, she is a thicker one. Add more water to help it be more liquidy, but it can also deter from the flavor. And our shots of espresso with the pumpkin pie spice. Give it a little mix. Now, I cannot do latte art, but we're gonna attempt. Oh my gosh. Okay, not bad. Can we just take a moment for that? That's not terrible. I mean, it could be better. Can we like, maybe can we? That's truly not that bad. I cannot do latte art at all, but I'm fairly impressed at this. So now I decided to make it a warm pumpkin spice latte because it just only felt right. So, but you can make it iced if you want to. Just pour it over like, you can do any of the methods that we just did. Oh, it makes me, there's this coffee shop that's like giving like vintage bookstore vibes, and it like makes me think of that, like cozying up in a cozy sweatshirt, sipping on this, like reading a good book or doing some work on a chilly fall day outside. Makes me so excited for fall. Yeah, okay. Well, you guys will have to let me know if you try out any of these. I really actually don't think I can pick a favorite, so you'll have to let me know. Had a little spice get in there. If you do try them all out, which one is your favorite? Which one do you think will be your favorite? You have to let me know. And I'll see you guys later.